So I just had another fucking crazy dream. It's happening a lot lately, man. Just dreams on dreams. And I think this one, there was some kind of like military. It was like an old school military, like 17th century, 16th century maybe. I want to say, I don't actually know what year it could have been because like, I don't really know that stuff. But it was old. Like we're talking like Renaissance, late Renaissance. Maybe that's too far. There were swords. People were using swords. I don't think there was any guns, but they were dressed in like metal, like almost like knights. But there was also fur. There was fur on the armor too. And I was me, but I wasn't me. It could have been past life, maybe. Chills. I'm getting chills now. Possible. Strong possibility. But like, I think like almost Jon Snow vibes. You know, like my hair was longer. It was kind of curly. I don't think it was the same shade of brown, but it was brown. And there was some kind of strategy meeting at it was a high elevation on a mountain, but it wasn't at the top of the mountain. Like there was snow everywhere. It was built into the rock, but it was this this super sturdy building. And then the actual place that I was living, the place I was appointed to go to serve some kind of capacity. It might have been military. It might have been militia. It might have been like protecting the town or the village. I'm not sure. It was more like a village. But it wasn't that far away from this snowy mountain. But wherever the place was, it was humid. It was high. It wasn't even like pine trees and like that kind of vibe. It wasn't that kind of vibe. It was like tropical almost. But up in the mountain they were wearing furs. So I went back down to this village, right? And you know how normally if there's snakes in my dream, the snakes are kind of aggressive, like they'll try and bite you, and like they usually indicate some kind of spiritual attack. That was not the case this time. There was a milk snake that I found just in my home, and I picked it up, and it was like friendly, and it just wanted to hang out. And I ended up like putting it down on my chest, and I fully expected it to slither away, even though I didn't want to let it go because I needed to remove it from my house. I put it down on my chest, and it just curled up and like took a nap underneath of my hand, like using my hand as a hide. And like we napped like that. I napped with this milk snake that I found in my home. And something spooked it. Like, it was totally comfortable before, but then it bolted. And so I like ran off and I picked it up right before it, you know, like went off into this one area of the hut, because that's what it was. It wasn't even like a house, it was like a hut. And I caught it, and I remember being grateful because like I didn't want to lose the little guy. It felt like a pet at that point. And I haven't had that many dreams where snakes are affectionate creatures. I think that means something here. But there's also the milk snake imagery where they look like coral snakes. They look scary and venomous, but not for one moment did I think that. It didn't have that energy, and it was friendly. Maybe it even was a coral snake, but it wasn't dangerous to me. But then, the room that it slithered into, there was part of the wall busted through. And I saw the face of a cow. Like, I thought it was a monster at first, but it was actually the head of a cow. and the cow had rammed into the hut and broken through part of the wall. And that was when I saw the giant snake. It was inside. It had been placed there. But I only noticed it after the cow tried to take down the wall. And I can't explain that. I'm going to have to Google what cows represent. So cows are like abundance, fertility, nourishment. For some people, some cultures, it's like divine feminine energy, motherhood. Especially when the cow looks healthy, which didn't look unhealthy. I just didn't know what it was while it was busting through my wall. But this could be a rapid change of these amazing qualities entering your life. And I'm going to take the snake as conquering fear, making peace with your demons, integrating your shadow. But somebody placed that giant snake. It was a massive, like, I don't know if it was an African rock python or a Burmese python or an anaconda or what the fuck it was. But it was in my house and it tried to attack me. Like, I was wrestling with this snake and I lost the milk snake in the process. I don't know where he went. But eventually I was able to wrestle free of it. I don't remember exactly how I got away, but I got away from the snake. And the first thing that I did was I ran back up to that mountainous building wherever the lead military people were, and I busted open that door and I said, "Why fear?" I remember this vividly. I said, "Why fear?" And they're like, "What do you mean, why fear?" I said, "Why do you use fear to try and create the growth you're looking for? Why ambush somebody with their fears?" Snakes were my fear. It was the thing that I had to integrate. It was the thing that I was afraid of. And I didn't realize that's what was happening in my dream. But in real life, I got a snake and I let it bite me until I wasn't scared anymore. But I've still, even after all these years, still had dreams about snakes being aggressive and being sent by the enemy. You know what I mean? Like that kind of vibe. So I ambushed them, and I wasn't like overtly aggressive, but I said, "Why fear? Why do you use fear?" And I made them explain it to me. And my father, who wasn't my real father, but I guess in whatever past life or whatever dream this was, he was my father there. He started to explain I was supposed to be more than I was. I was supposed to be a leader too. He had expectations of me. And so they created this plot to plant snakes in my home. My own family. Because they wanted me to be more than I was. They wanted me to do better, to be better, to conquer my fears, to be strong. So naturally they throw me to the wolves. This might resonate with black sheep energy, which we've had a lot of in the last 24, 48 hours. I was angry with him. And for some reason, I'm standing right now, like hands behind my back, like upright posture. Like that's the energy that I carried out of this dream. The way I'm standing has changed. There might have been something in this dream, in this past, in this life, that you had to go back and get. Maybe it's some discipline. Maybe it's something that we had to forgive. We had to forgive our father then for doing something like that to us. Maybe it's because we needed to recognize that the things that we conquered and integrated in this life are a direct correlation to what we had to conquer and learn from in that life. Only we did it younger this time. All of those things he had to do in his like early adulthood, his 20s to 30s, I had to do by the time I was 20. It's all very interesting. Thanks if you made it this far. Thanks for listening.